Good morning.
I could sit here and say good morning with you guys 50 times and still just go, let's do it some more. Let's do it some more. You have such a positive vibration. That's it.
Have you heard us before this?
I've just been introduced, but I'll tell you what, though, you instantly hit my favorites list so that when I'm driving in the car, I feel like that I'm going to be sitting here and I'm going to be, given stories and shared stories with and stuff like that, which is going to create conversation in my own life.
Good.
Well, that's terrific.
Well, I got to tell you what my connection is. First, I've been married to my wife for 29 years, so I've been around the Jewish household for 29 years. And now that my wife is a Jewish grandmother, oh, my God, I see a lot of her in you.
He's young enough to be my grandchild.
Well, I mean, you guys are very clear in saying that everybody needs a Jewish grandmother. And what I love about Mama Mac is the fact that she's like you guys. You sassy about life. And I just laugh about it.
Good.
I don't know that I've ever thought of myself as particularly sassy, but I guess we are.
Yeah, we're sassy. And I added the sexy part just for fun because sassy and sexy. We talk about a lot of things. Sex is one of the things. We just talk about it.
Now, one of the things that you talk about is Jed Levinson, who really didn't feel like a favorite grandson. I like this because how many times have we in the everyday world said, Grandma doesn't like me? She doesn't like me. I can tell you that right now.
No, he never said Grandma didn't like me.
No, he just said that
Ava was the favorite.
His sister was the favorite.
Yeah, but even with favorite sisters and stuff like that, because I'm the middle child of the family, and there are times it's like, you know what, I just don't want to deal with this.
You know what? Yeah, a grandmother is different. Like I have 4 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. And the relationship I have with my granddaughter is different than I have with the grandsons. But not to say that I love them less. It's just on a different level. When you talk about girls, like we always said, a boy can go to his prom. And I'd say, Andrew, how was the prom? Good. That was it. I speak to Rachel. Oh, someone's dress was so beautiful. The band was terrific. The food was okay. I mean, boys are.
There's a whole different relationship you have with a grandson and a granddaughter. However, when I'm with my grandsons, I try to find things. I even talk about sports. It's not hard. By the way, if you're in North Carolina, I have a grandson who's a Tar Heel.
Oh, yeah.
And so is my husband, and so is my son.
All right. Go Tar Heels.
Go Heels. And so that's something that, we can always talk about. And I mean, there's so much that you can talk about with a grandson. And I have a grandson who's does podcasting and things. So that's, we talk professional stuff together.
It's not only the talking, Ellen, I find. The girls give you the time. The boys are always off someplace here, there.
True.
They fit you in, which is okay.
True.
They fit you in more than the girls are here for a visit.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned with my granddaughter, who just graduated this year, and then my grandson, was how to walk that very thin line of he still has 2 more years of school, and we're celebrating her. So it was like I needed to give him some extra attention so he didn't feel left out. Do you guys go through that as well?
Maybe I'm insensitive. Each one tends to be doing that. Listen, in life, you got to find your spot. At times it's your spot. At times it's not your spot.
Right.
And you know what? I feel you can't cushion it just for you say, you explain to them it's her graduation and you will have your time in 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, have the same relationship, but don't feel guilty, I say, about things that you do, because you don't do it with meanness and you don't do it without thought. So you got to cushion them. That life, life is not the way you want it to be all the time.
How about those moments where your grandchildren have discovered the beauty of bikinis and things like that? And my wife, like I said, is a Jewish grandmother. She's going, oh my God, no, she will not be wearing that. I'm going, you got to let her be herself. She's got to be herself.
If she got a good figure, let her be. Even if she doesn't have a good figure, if she feels comfortable in wearing it, let her wear it.
That's how I feel. Do what you want to do. I mean, my granddaughter had this gorgeous, gorgeous, luxurious long hair, and she came here the other night, and it's short.
Oh,
and
no.
I said, you cut it. She says, I cut it for this summer. And you know what? She looks, in my eyes, she looks beautiful. I never, I would never say that I love the long hair or I love the short hair. They have to be who they are, and they have to fit into their niche. Now, my son has 4 children. If I started to worry about hurting this one because I'm doing for that one, I would be insane every time they came over.
So now, do you think that we're with your podcast, and this is what I got, because I mean, nobody trained me how to be a grandparent. I mean, it's like mother and fatherhood. Nobody really trains you. You watch by others. I get from your podcast an opportunity to go, I can relate with this. I can learn from this. You guys are so authentic.
We are. We have.
And don't say that you don't learn how to be a grandmother, because I learned from my mother.
From your mother.
I absolutely learned from my mother. My mother was a wonderful grandmother, and she did wonderful things with my kids, and she made things interesting and exciting for them. And I remember my father once said, I'm going to go out and get Chinese food, and who wants what? And he took a list and he went to the Chinese restaurant to pick up the food. And by the time he came back, my mother had a table set on the cocktail table on the floor. So we all sat on, she didn't really differentiate between Japanese and Chinese, but we all sat on the floor. And she had lanterns. She had made these paper lanterns. In the time it took my father to go to the restaurant and pick up the food. I mean, she always made things interesting for the children and exciting. And I always tried to do that when they were small. Mm-hmm. Now that they're, really big, I just try to make things interesting when they come here, when they, when they call me.
I'm listening to you and I'm saying, gee, I miss that. I have to say, my parents were very social. They were good parents. I loved them dearly, but they were very social. They had a lot of friends, and I can't remember a lot that they did with my kids. I mean, they loved them and they came to visit and we had holidays together. So I basically learned how to be, maybe I felt it when I was growing up. So I'm trying to do for my grandchildren what I don't think my mother and father ever did with my father more than my mother. My mother was a darling woman and very, very pretty blonde.
Oh, I loved your mother.
Yeah, she was very social, but she was not a grandmotherly type. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Because she never had, her mother died when she was 12 years old. She never had grandparents. You do learn, you learn from what went ahead of you. And she just didn't know anybody. So my grandmother traits and skills, if you call it skills, is what comes from my heart. And
everybody sort of gravitates to you. You're that kind of a person. Mm-hmm. So the fact that your grandchildren are close to you is not a surprise.
Yeah. You bring up a very interesting point, because when my other essential job is that during the pandemic, I took up a job at a grocery store because I wanted to be with people. When I am there with young adults, I mean, it's like that. It's that grandfather that comes out in me, and they sit there and embrace it because someone is actually listening to them speak. Do you go through that when you're walking through a grocery store? It's like people do levitate toward you.
I haven't been to a grocery store in 2 years.
Oh boy!
I use Instacart.
There you go.
Well, wait a minute now. When we were on the Today Show, I must tell you, I live in Manhattan, and on the half a block away is a big market, West Side Market, and I'm very friendly with the manager because I know all prices. Yeah. And when I'm a riot, when I buy something and it's marked wrong, I tell them, this is not the price it should be. Oh, so he's my friend. And when we were on the Today Show, he put it on the television in the supermarket. So now when I walk into, sure, people gravitate. They remember, oh, here comes a celebrity. And listen, I say, if the manager of your supermarket thinks you're a celebrity, you've had it made. What could I do? What's more important? They kick me out right away. Not that they levitate, but they think I'm a celebrity.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's a popular thing. It's really funny.
When I went for my first shot, for my first COVID shot, the nurse, I was wearing a mask, and the nurse said to me, "Could you lift your mask, please?" And I thought it was part of the process. I lifted it, and she said, "Are you the grandmother?" I said, "What?" She says, "It was my day off yesterday. I watched you on Hoda and Jenna. You are the grandmother, right?" I said, "Yes, I am." She got so excited, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, it's like celebrity."
It's so funny. It's so funny. And we're so uncelebrity-like, I'm telling you.
Speak for yourself, darling.
Now, the idea to create a podcast, because you and I both know that the generation of broadcasting has changed so much over the past 80 to 100 years. For you guys to step out here with Call Your Grandmother, this is an amazing time in broadcasting history.
Well, first of all, you have to thank Meryl Poster for an idea that was totally brilliant. And it's something that was really necessary and came at the right time, because the time was terrible for everybody. Everybody needed a grandmother.
You know, Matt, wait a minute. I just got to, before this thought leaves my head, talking to you, tell me your first name again. You said?
Arrow.
Arrow?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to start to think about Call Your Grandfather. No, don't laugh. It could be a possibility. There are a lot of interesting, fun, loving grandfathers.
Yeah, because they tend to clam up a little bit. My father did that. He clammed up as he got older. But then, in the final chapters with him, I learned why. And it was because he fought in World War II, and he had a lot of things that were going on in his head. And I asked him, I said, look, why could you not have shared that with me? And so that's what I want to do. That's why I daily write. I'm writing for the future, that this is the way that it is. Do you guys do the same thing? Are you open and transparent enough to say, there's a story here, you should learn it?
Oh, we've got plenty of stories, and I've shared it with the kids. And of course, we share it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we share everything on the podcast. But what I think, when men retire and they're home, let's say they don't have a lot of hobbies that keep them, I think getting them to talk about their past and what they need an outlet. This would be fabulous for them. If a grandchild comes in, I know.
I'm going to say something profound.
Okay.
Men are not women.
No, there are plenty we could find. The only
and I think that women are more wired to do what we do than men are. And I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. I'm just saying that women are more open, because we're more open with each other. I mean, you don't see men sitting down at a lunch and saying, what my grandson did today.
Yeah, right.
You never know. Sometimes they need the opening. I know the only thing my grandkids used to love to hear, Phil used to tell, my husband died 4 years ago at 92, and he was in World War II in the Air Force. He would love to tell them the stories of when he was overseas. Wow. And all the war stories. And they really listen to, more than his philosophy. I don't even know, may rest in peace, I don't know what the hell his philosophy was altogether.
But that's a very specific thing, Rita. I'm saying, how many times I'll get a ding on my phone and the girls are shopping. Nana, do you like this dress? Do you like that dress?
Yep.
Would you think in a million years that your grandson would send my grandson would send my husband a thing? Do you like this iPad?
Not to my husband, because he was the world's worst dresser. I bought everything from head to toe for him. He hated shopping, and he had the world's worst taste. When I met him on a blind date, he was wearing a navy pinstripe a brown pinstripe suit with navy suede shoes.
Oh, God.
As God is my witness, it should have said, Rita, walk away now.
Oh my God, that reminds me of the stories that my wife would tell me about her mother. Is that when something wasn't right, they were returning something. Her mother would look at her and say, "Go away now. Mommy's going to go do something," and she would go and handle the person, the customer service agents and stuff like that. It's like I always wanted to be a part of that conversation about how they're able to move decision makers.
Oh,
we have our ways.
We have you.
I guess it's how you present things, probably. Maybe not authoritarian, maybe just like advisory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not say this is the way it should be, it shouldn't be, but kind of bring it into conversation. They don't like when you say this is it. It's not black and white. Nothing. I have a friend that says she's black and white. I'm not a black and white. I like to hear the pros and the cons and the in between. I say I'm more of a gray person,
Mm-hmm.
and that's.
No, you're not gray. You're beige. I would never say gray.
Oh, you like beige better? Okay. I'm beige person. Yeah. But that's because you're an interior designer, Ellin. You know.
What about photographs? We are the generation that has photographs of our grandchildren right there in our smartphone. There are times I'll show pictures to my grandson, and he's like, please. And it's like, but I love those photographs when they were 3 years old or when they were 7 years old.
Yes. Well, every time my grandkids have a birthday, I post pictures of them, all the way back. I don't know if it bothers them or not, but I do it anyway.
Yep.
My phone is so chock full of photos. My son is now in the process of getting me a new phone. He says, "Mom, your phone is going to explode. You have too much on it. Let me get you a different phone."
So true. Well, congratulations on Call Your Grandmother. This podcast is it's like I said, it is my new best friend as I'm driving in, and I just love it.
So happy. I'm glad it gives.
I'm delighted it's in North Carolina.
Yeah, go Tar Heels again.
Well, that's where my husband is from. My husband is from Durham.
Oh, excellent. Well, you know what these Carolinas are all about, especially during the summer months.
I remember going to my in-laws, and we were driving down, and we had lost the air conditioning in the car.
No.
We were driving my son down to college, and we lost the air conditioning in the car. And I said to my husband, "I can't wait to get to your mother's. I'm dying in this car." And we get to my mother-in-law's, and as she opens the door, she says, "Don't get upset, but my air conditioning has gone."
Yes.
I said, "No, we're going to a hotel."
That's it. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. You two, the door is always going to be open.
Says, "You can't do that. You will hurt me." So I said, "Give me the card." And I called the guy, and it said 24-hour service.
Oh, boy.
And I said, "We need service now." And he came.
There you
10 o'clock at night.
Make sure your son and listen to the Will Mamo episode. Did you?
That's right. Oh, listen to her. She is so wonderful. She is so hilarious. She's a Southern grandma, and she knows the dreaded Coach from Duke. But she knew him, and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was her friend.
Oh, wow. Wow.
She's very interesting. She's adorable.
Listen to all of them because everyone is worthwhile.
So
yes, everybody brings something special to the table, and it gives Rita and me potpourri of topics to discuss.
That's what we bring to the table, latkes.
Absolutely. Well, you guys be brilliant today, okay?
We'll try our best.
Thank you.
Okay.
And it's really fun talking.
And stay inside. It's too hot to go out.
Yes, it is. I agree. Bye, guys.